All right, part three. We've got our designed, laid out PCB, and we're kind of ready for the next step. So what I want to show you is just how robust Fusion is. You can have like a 52-layer board. We're literally only dealing with the top and the bottom. So that's all we need to worry about. But right now, if you go to this tab, you'll see that it's alerting you to the fact that there are errors. These errors are because we haven't actually put any traces on. All we've got are these air wires, which are great. It just shows us that this pin of the LED should be connected to this pin of the resistor, et cetera, but it hasn't actually mapped it out. That's what we have to do. So we're going to do that by creating roots. You can do roots manually, and I mean, that's something you can try, but I don't recommend it. I do recommend the auto router, which will just do it all for you. That's why we use this kind of, what did I do? Why did that become so big? Let's get rid of that, back down to little. Okay, so what we want to do is auto root our board. And God, and so to do that, we basically have to choose, we don't have to choose anything. We're just going to go with the defaults. The effort that we're putting into it is low because it's a simple board. We've put NA for all of them except the top and the bottom. It's going to try to find the best path forward. So I'm going to click continue. And basically it's going to provide us with 5 options once I click start. So watch this space when I click start. It's just kind of going through all the different possibilities. So all of these are good. You'll notice that some of the lines are red and some of the lines are blue. The reason for that is the red layer is the top layer and the bottom layer is the blue layer. And it's basically what's happening here is you can't connect this pin to this pin without crossing over this. And since all we're doing is etching copper out, you can't actually do that without 2 surfaces. So we need 2 layers to our board, so we're going to have to print it on both sides. A simpler circuit may only need one side, and you can have everything on the bottom. That might be a possibility, but it's not going to work for this circuit. So you can see there are a bunch of different ideas. Some of them have more on the bottom, less on the top. But I mean, I usually just go with the top one, and I'll say end job. And now we've got it rooted, and you can see now it's telling us we have no errors. Just to confirm that, we could go to the rules and we could say check design rules. Basically, it's checking, does anything overlapping? Have you left enough space? All of those things. And it's pretty happy with this board the way it is. I will say you can fiddle with stuff. I can move things around if I want to do that. If you want to make it a certain shape, I don't know, you can do things like that. There are some good practices. Let me find it. Let me see if I can find the good practices. Here we go. These are some good practices. We've got, basically don't put anything, use 45-degree angles or smooth, avoid 90-degree angles. This is just good practices for the way you route things. But most of the time, we're going to just go with what they give us. Okay, so once we're happy with that, we've checked for errors. The next thing we're going to do is find the button that says push to 3D PCB. So this is where the fun happens. You push that button and it's going to say, what do you want to push? All of these things? And the answer is yes. You want to make sure all the components that are in your document are being pushed. And so I'm going to say push. It's going to take some time because Fusion. And then it's going to produce our final circuit board. Ta-da! This is what we designed. And so you can take a look at what's on here. One of the things you'll notice is that I've got my I've my through hole technology. So I've fixed my voltage. I didn't actually give any of these names. If I want to, I can go and do that. One thing I will say is we don't have the ability to silk screen. So in fact, where do they show that? The solder masks. So that's, I guess if I hide this, it actually hides all the silk screens. So that's basically what you're going to get. You're going to get, if I hide the packages, that's what your board is going to look like. It's a little, I mean, it's not one of those super pretty ones with the writing. You can't, this is the back of it, by the way. So it's pretty cool. It shows you what you have. It's got all those parts. And now we are ready to send this to be printed. Or I guess I would say to be etched, to be milled is the proper term. So, I mean, you can see, maybe you don't like this. Maybe you're like, well, that's kind of ugly. I kind of wish, you know, it was a prettier shape, or I wish, you know, it wasn't so big. I can maybe squish these together. You can do all that. You can change all of that back on your PCB board. I would always keep saving it. And then I would, like, you know, say you want to bring these in. Okay, so I can bring these all the way in. Let's say I'd want to do that. It's going to move everything with it. You see what happened there, that yellow line? It's basically telling you, oh, you're about to make an error of the rules. You're about to overlap something you shouldn't overlap. And then I can bring that in. I mean, I've got this whole thing. Another thing I can do is unroot everything. I can say unroot all and then done. Yes, I realized that. And now what I can do is just continue modifying my board until I get it to be what I want. Maybe this is better, and I'm going to make it a little more compact. Maybe I want to bring this line down. It seems a little off-centered, and I don't know what I did there. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, so I've got a little bit more compact board as opposed to that really spread out one that I wasn't super crazy about. Maybe I can save this again and then push it to the PCB again. Push it to the 3D PCB and then take a look at what happens. Did anything happen? I saved it, push it. Oh, I have to say push. And then once that takes care of itself, there. This is my new, slightly sleeker version of the PCB. Okay, so it's got everything there and it looks a little bit more. I can take a look at what it actually looks like without the packages. Again, this white silkscreen part won't be there. It's really pretty, but unfortunately we can't do that. So it will just be the stuff without the silk screen. That's what our PCB will look like. So we'll just have to remember that. There is a way we can add labels to this. Going back here. Now, let me zoom in here a little bit. There is an ability, we do have the ability if we want to, let's see, I can go to draw and I can click text. So maybe I just want to give myself a few guiding principles. Maybe I want to say potentiometer 1, okay? And I can place that. And I didn't even hit enter. As soon as I type the text, I can just place it. So that's my potentiometer 1. And then I want to change this to 2. And now we got to be really careful here because this is going to actually be in copper. So it's going to interfere with some of the, let's now do R1. I don't know if this is going to work. We can try this. R2. It doesn't matter if it overlaps the white. It only matters if it overlaps the R3. And then I can just say switch. Let me just call it S for here. We'll call that a switch. Okay. Done. I just didn't like that down there. I want to move this one up here. I'm going to try to see if this will work. And it might not, but we can try it. I'm going to unroot everything. Again, done. Yes. And I'm going to try to reroute it with that stuff. And this is all going to be on the top layer. Okay. So let's give it a try. Quick root, auto router. I have a feeling it might not, but we can try it. All right, it did work. So you can see that anything that has to go through the R1 is on the bottom, on the blue. And these ones, the red wires, all managed to avoid those. So I think we're good. I think we can save this and try again to push it and see what it looks like now. Push. And then see what it gives us. So now you can see that this 1, 2, 3, that's all going to be etched on the board. It's very faint, but now when I hide my packages and hide the silk screen, these little indicators will be on the board itself. So potentiometer 1 are these 3. I probably could even put them right in the middle. And I mean, you can't put lines around it or the wires won't be able to get through it. So anyways, this is a nice way to get it pretty. So now that we have that, we're kind of in good shape. And the last thing to do is to export the files to make them ready to mill. So make sure everything, all parts of this is saved. Is this saved? This is already saved. Okay, so next, I'll keep this on this video. What I'm going to do now is go to the manufacturing. And I can preview this, how it's going to look. Again, there we have it. I can look at the top side, I can look at the bottom side, and I can look at the drill holes. It all looks good. I can send this to CAM, launch the CAM, Computer Aided Manufacturing, and you can see that it's going to basically give me, actually, let's not do this. Let's go. So now that we saw things, the thing that we really need is the Gerber files, the NC drill files, and all that. So what we're going to do is export those things. So I'm going to click it. One click menu. So it's going to click and give me all these files. It's going to be in this file called MyArrow, and then PCB designs, and then all of that. So I'm going to say, okay, it's putting it in my downloads. It's calling it PCB demo, and I'm just going to say save. And now we're going to look at those files, PCB demo. So this is my downloads. If I open that up and I look at what's inside, I can see under lots of different versions, I've got my Gerber files. These are the things that we're actually going to use to, so like if I want to do the etch the copper, I'll use that copper file. If I want the profile of the board, I'll use that. And then the other thing that's important is the drill file. So that's also very important. So that's what we're going to use. And the next video will show you how to do all this on the CNC software, carbide copper. Thanks.